Welcome to the latest episode of BW Hotwire. We have with us Mr. Kshitij Kumar, co-founder of Gemopie. Thank you so much for sparing your precious time, sir. It's pleasure to have you on board for the interaction.
Yeah, same here. Hi.
Please tell us the genesis of the company. What is the company? When did you float the company? What is the company into? We know that it's the EVs, but what is the USP of your product line? How is it different from your peers?
Yeah. See, we started the company around the 3.5 years back. That is when the R&D and everything regarding the product started. We are in market for over 2 years now. The USP of the product is that all of our vehicles come with removable lithium-ion batteries, where we are basically not dependent on charging stations and everything. Anybody who is basically even living in a flat can buy the vehicle and easily remove the battery and charge it. We are not working with anything that is lead acid. We are only doing lithium ion, so that is the USP of the product. And plus, further is we basically are very concentrated on all the issues that plague the EV industry, that is after sales service, spare parts. We are very focused on that. Where now latest edition is Gemopie Secure, where we are giving 3 years service inclusive in the price of the product to the end customer.
Okay, so are you sourcing your batteries or the motors from China? If yes, will it be a hindrance going forward? If you continue to rely on China?
You see, most of the industries in India currently rely on China for either the raw material or uh, even the auto industry. If we talk about the internal combustion engines, they also rely 24% on China for their products. Now, as far as EVs is concerned, we can actually do 100% localization except for the battery cells. We are procuring the battery also currently from India, but there is no other.
Every company, even big OEMs, have to rely on China. So you were just talking about that.
They are government figures. It's government figures that 24% of all petrol engine parts are coming from China. So your Maruti, Honda, TVS. A small example is combination braking. There is nobody making it combi brakes in India. They all come from China. So these are all known facts, but nobody asks them these questions. They ask us. So my reply is that 100% localization of EVs is very practically possible in India, but we are at least a year and a half away from being able to achieve that.
Acha, I mean, if I'm not wrong, you're right now in two-wheeler or three-wheeler, or which segment are you in? And will you be in the
We are
entire segment of the auto industry?
See, currently we are in the two-wheeler segment. We our price range starts at around 40,000 to the end customer and goes to 80,000-90,000 rupees to the end customer. We are basically at 40, 60, and 80. We want to fill the gaps. We want to be there where a person walks into a Gemopie showroom is able to pick up a vehicle of his need and price. So first we'll be there and then we'll see where we can reach.
What kind of impact did COVID have on your manufacturing and retail operations? If yes, how have you been able to navigate it during this pandemic?
There were a couple of very real challenges. The factory was not operational for 3 months, so then the whole of India was not operational. But that does not stop your after-sales service. So we had a lot of very good learnings where we were able to resolve most of the issues that were coming up during this time when courier services were not working, other things were not working, we could not get the spare parts out. So there were a lot of very good learnings. But as far as sales is concerned, you see, this period of time, that is the peak summers and rainy season, is not good for overall automotive industry. So as far as impact is concerned, we are actually after COVID. there's been a lot of positivity around EVs, and we see a lot of genuine interest and people picking up EVs, a little bit move towards personal transportation rather than public transportation. So all of these things have contributed to, we've actually done better numbers this year than we've done last year. So rest, we are taking this year as a year of survival. We are not taking this year as something where we would make a lot of profits. This year is just about the extra learnings that we've got when we actually could not go to the end customer, and obviously about surviving this year, somehow getting through it, and then we'll see.
What kind of investments is a company making, and what is the capacity, and will it be exported to other countries and all, and like some other details if you can share with us?
Yeah, see, we have a capacity of making 150,000 units in a year in a single shift in the current location that we have, and that is the entire EV market, so as to say. So we've got it covered as far as here is concerned. We are exporting to Nepal currently. The response is very, very good. We are looking at other SAARC countries. We are also looking at Africa. So currently, as far as the capacity capex is sufficient for another 6 to 8 months. We are planning a factory in South. We've been doing it, and if COVID had not happened, maybe we would have been there. But that is basically purely because of logistics and other issues, faster reach to the end customer. So, but currently, most of the investments that we are making, we started with a state-of-the-art factory. The best in line, I don't think so anybody in EVs currently has the kind of setup that we have. So we started with that. Then as far as investments right now is basically, as I told you, to fill up the gap of 50,000 and 70,000, we are working on a couple of more models. So that's where most of the investment is right now. Capex wise, we are pretty sorted.
So what is the future of two-wheeler EVs in India?
The future has been bright for a very long period of time. But as I told you, there are a few challenges. The first challenge is basically customer education, where today the customer is not that well educated. All the things that I'm telling you, they are taken as obvious, but they are not reaching the end customer. Okay, and then obviously finance is a major issue. Then are a few policy issues. They are there, but it's growing and it will keep on growing. More reliable technology, better vehicles. Today, at least for any job that a person is doing, delivery, going to office, going to college, he can actually immediately adapt to a EV and do that thing as efficiently as he is doing on a petrol vehicle.
And so, going forward, will you be making batteries also? If no, with whom you would be working to source batteries? Will it be domestically sourced or will it be sourced from China?
No, we are already sourcing our battery domestically.
Okay.
We are already taking our batteries from India, and it's not now. It's been 1.5 years, more than 1.5 years. We are sourcing all our batteries from Indian vendors only. Even the chargers we are taking from India only. So we have plans to get into the battery side of it, because we feel that it's all service related. Now, when you are taking a battery, which is a very, very expensive and important component in the scooter, and we at times feel that if we are owning that part of the business also, we will be able to be more efficient as far as the after sale service is concerned. So it's been in the pipeline. But currently, the idea was that within 3 years of operation, we come up with 3 models. We close our price ranges. We are available at the lowest price range, at a higher price range also. And now we are, with the new BS6, we are as competitive as a petrol vehicle. So person can directly go into a showroom, get a EV and save from day one. But that's a choice.
So also, can you shed some light on Gemopai's plan for Miso in delivery space?
We are getting a very, very good response, because this scooter was primarily designed for delivery, and basically your single person commute, where a person, we wanted it to be low cost, where if a person is opting for, even if a person opts for this vehicle instead of going in a metro, he would save money. So at delivery, we've got a very good response. We've integrated, increased the battery size with a couple of vendors. We are working with them. With a couple of corporates, we've already rolled out. The testing is going on, and I believe in the delivery space, this vehicle will do exceptionally well.
Sir, will you be also looking at some sort of setting up charging stations to for the larger interest of your customers? If you can talk a little bit about that.
There are a few conflicting thoughts as far as that is concerned. The reason we, as I mentioned before, are in the two-wheeler space. Okay, charging stations primarily are for four-wheelers. We've encouraged all our dealers to have charging stations. We've rolled out a business plan for that also. But as far as two-wheelers, all of them are with swappable batteries, so you don't have to rely on a charging station. Plus, you are not expecting, even if we are giving fast charging, you are not expecting an end customer to stand in the sun or heat or rain or cold to charge his vehicle for half an hour. He can do it at the comfort of his home. We've given him that option. So the swappable model is basically for B2B clients mostly, where let's say Amazon Hub has a charging station where he can swap the battery. But we feel that this will move more towards the swapping side rather than giving a person an option of a charging station. It'll be more like a swapping station.
And so recently, the Delhi government came out with some stocks and subsidies for EVs, right? And also the union government came out with a policy that the manufacturer may not have to sell the battery along with the electric vehicles. So are these policies steps in the right direction, or you think more needs to be done? If more needs to be done, what more needs to be done?
Okay, so first I'll cover. See, all steps are in the right direction. When you're trying to promote EVs, you're trying to give subsidies. They are all steps in the right direction because you're encouraging the end customer to actually buy a EV. And the end customer is the hero because he's making the change today. He can buy a petrol vehicle, but he's going in for an EV. And for that, if he gets any sort of incentive directly from the government, that is always a step in the right direction. So we are selling him the EV, but by giving that subsidy, they are saying now it's a free ride because we are paying your electricity for the next 2 years, 3 years usage. So that is what you're saying. So that's always a step in the right direction. The rest, what more needs to be done? There are just a few things that need to be done. There are not a lot of things to take this to the next level. We need to have one of the nationalized banks financing these vehicles. It is very easy today for me, you, or anybody, as a matter of fact, to actually walk into a store of Hero or Honda or pick up a scooter or a bike. It's very easy. When it comes to EVs, financing is one of the major challenges that we face. We are struggling with it. 2 years, we've got around 7 financing partners on board. But still, I feel that the space that is lacking is either a SBI, even if they do it for their account holders, or there's a government directive which says that now they will have to have compulsorily EV financing as part of their portfolio. And rest, what the government can do is customer education. Spend a few crores, 100 crores on educating the customer on why they should get an EV. Not only environmental reasons, but savings and other ease of use, noise pollution, there are a lot of things.
What is the way forward for the EV industry? Like, is it the future? Can you share your roadmap with us? What is the roadmap that you have laid for for your company?
See, right from the beginning, our see EVs currently is not a space. It's a very small market currently in India. So our policy and our company's thought process right from the beginning was to basically convert people who were using petrol vehicles to EVs, and that's way forward. Today, a lot of vehicles sell in the Indian market. So, and there is growth every year. There is growth, even if there is a shift in policy as far as government is concerned. The growth of the EV story is here to stay. And then, how much time does it take, or does India become like countries where 70%, 80% of the vehicles are electric? That timeline in a country as diverse and big as India is very, very difficult for me to give you.